And we want to welcome and invite you all. Thank you so much for being here. We are talking all things hormone balance, specifically around our menopause journey, and the best diet to help balance those hormones naturally, and then also shed belly fat. So we're going to hop right into it. I'm having about 9 million tech glitches at the moment. Jody, can you see the workshop highlights?
I can.
Okay. We're going to wing it. So we're going to go through a few things today, break down common hormone-related fat loss myths, introduce sustainable hormone-smart eating strategies, empower women to ditch diet culture, which is such a big thing because we've been so trained to only think one way with calorie deficit, calorie in, calorie out, that we're going to kind of flip that script a little bit and teach you other things and fuel your body with confidence. We'll provide actionable tips and a supplement protocol, which most of you are already on. And this isn't about crash diets. It's more about metabolism, healing, and harmony in the body. So my name is Amy. And it didn't switch, did it? Okay, I got 3 things going on here. My name's Amy. I'm a certified mental wellness coach. I'm 49. I turn 50 next month. I'm surgical menopause brought on by a hysterectomy in my early 30s. I'm married to Greg. We have 2 boys. And ever since I can remember, like my first earliest memory of a weight loss issue started when I was in 3rd grade. So I have struggled with weight, body confidence, yo-yo dieting, lots of dieting. And then I found sustained weight loss when I learned to balance my hormones. And now I'm passionate about helping other women do that too.
Hi, my name's Jody Johnson. I'm a practitioner, menopause educator, mental wellness coach, and I am 56, 57 this summer, and I'm postmenopausal. So I've gone through this journey from perimenopause into postmenopause holistically, and I've been married to my husband, Paul, for 36 years. This summer is 35. 3 grown children and 4 grandchildren. So I have a really busy family life. I've struggled my whole life with hormones. I have struggled my whole life with something related to food, whether it was under eating or not getting nutrition in. I was always doing the latest fad diet. It was a constant struggle. It was something that was on my mind all the time. And so I get so much pleasure out of helping women become like freedom from that and realize that, this is a vessel of ours and our body talks to us and it's telling us things. And then we're going to show you today how to do this and how to lose that menopause belly. So I'm going to go right into mine. So midlife body, what changes in perimenopause and menopause? So let's just talk about this a little bit. So let's ask ourselves the question I always like to come back to is, what is my body telling me? Because a lot of times we have kind of like this negative thought that our body is working against us, but that's actually not true. Our body is literally speaking to us and telling us what things are wrong, or not wrong, but what we need to fix so that we're able to, get rid of the belly fat, live a little happier life during this time. So, because in midlife things start to feel unfamiliar, your weight shifts, sleep is off, your mood changes. But what if we could flip that switch or that script of our life? So what if our body isn't broken, but it's trying to like do that communication with us? So here's what's happening under the surface of all of this. So as estrogen and progesterone start to decline, it affects everything in your body, from mood and sleep, metabolism, even how your body tells you if you're hungry or not hungry. Estrogen is actually a protective hormone too. It helps your cells stay insulin sensitive. So we've heard of that before, insulin resistance. So estrogen actually helps with that. When it drops, you become more, like we said, insulin sensitive, resistant. And at the same time, cortisol begins to rise, especially when you're under a lot of stress during this time. So if you're not sleeping well, or you're constantly juggling several things in your life, we're going to have a lot more stress in our body. And so cortisol will rise. If, for instance, cortisol, if your adrenal glands are burnt out during that time, your cortisol could actually plummet. And this doesn't help us either. So it gives us no energy. We don't get any rest. And, or we rest too much and still don't have any energy. So if you're just imagining that weight gain is all about sugar craving, if you're not just imagining that weight gain is all about sugar cravings, it's real and it's biological. So here's another thing. At the top of our hunger hormones is ghrelin and leptin, and they start misfiring. So there's communication between our gut and our brain, and all of that starts misfiring, especially when cortisol is higher and our estrogen drops. And and here's a piece that ties it all together. Okay, so I talked about the gut-brain axis. So the gut-brain is in constant conversation with our gut and our brain. And if your gut is out of balance because of stress, or processed foods or antibiotics or that hormone shift with estrogen, progesterone, guess what? That belly fat, it's not about being lazy or having willpower. It's just literally a protective response for your body. Your body literally thinks that's not safe and it's changing the environment. So today we're going to learn how to listen to the signals and respond with support, and how to fuel your body in a way that calms the chaos and balance your hormones and brings your body back into that calmness and balance with your cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, and that belly fat. Okay. Here we go. Why diets don't work. Okay. So I was on a constant diet. I totally get you guys when it talks to, and I was actually a undereater, chronic undereater, which increased my cortisol and didn't help me at all. So we find that low carb, low fat, intermittent fasting, clean eating, Whole30, you name it, we've all done it. And yet here we are, even with the most traditional diets, we've had that sometimes can give us more harm than good, especially during this midlife. So let's break it down. Chronic under eating increases cortisol. So what does that mean? This can actually look like in two different ways, where we constantly are intermittent fasting for so long that our body gets completely stressed out about the whole thing, and we're not getting enough of our nutrition into our body. So there is a time and a place for intermittent fasting, and we're going to talk about that. But sometimes with the chronic under eating, our body just doesn't think it's getting fed enough, so it literally just hangs on to that belly fat. Another way this can happen is that we can have this yo-yo dieting effect. So we're constantly under eating, but then all of a sudden we've got our body has gotten to a point so it's at some point that it's so unsafe, then it has what's called binge eating. So we have this yo-yo dieting where we're constantly under eating and then maybe binge eating, and then we're constantly doing these different diets to try and figure out which ones work. We're skipping from one diet to the next diet, and this diet to the other, and our body actually has no idea what's going on. And so during that time, it literally will hang on to that fat, especially around your belly. Low fat and low carb extremes stress the system. Hormones need fat to function. Your brain and gut needs carbs to stay balanced. And so going to these low fat, low carb extremes can really hurt not only your brain, but your muscles and everything in it, especially during this time. And here's the truth. I want every woman over 40 to hear: you do not need less food. You actually need more nourishment. Okay. The old way of eat less, move more doesn't work when our hormones are shifting. Your nervous system cannot balance. So today we're going to show you a new way, how a hormone-smart approach that gives your body actually what it needs, because healing starts with nourishment, not deprivation.
Oh, I love how you just said that. Nourishment, not deprivation, because I think so many women like our age, we are now desperate to get old belly fat off. So immediately we just cut out food. And I hear so many women say, yeah, I'll only eat one meal a day, or I only eat 800 calories a day. And it worked against us, just like what you said. So I love that. Nourishment, not deprivation.
Yeah, it was actually my go-to. I was a constant under eater, thinking if I just didn't eat enough and worked out more, that the weight would start. It maybe worked in my 20s, but it certainly did not work in my 40s and 50s at all. So I want to give you an example of a balanced plate, and I want you to especially pay attention to something that it is very important that some of us really leave out. So 40% of your plate should be from protein. And then, of course, your healthy fats. And then this one says our smart carbs plus fiber. There is one part of this plate that when we start to do macros, we always leave out. And I have to tell you again and again that it is the key factor, one of the key factors in losing weight and balancing your hormones, and that is fiber. You must have at least 20 to 30 grams of fiber per day. Okay, so take note about this. During this time, our digestion slows way down. So keep in mind, stay away from a lot of raw vegetables, okay? Especially like raw broccoli. You can have some tomatoes and stuff, but take note that if you do eat raw vegetables, what it does to your gut. There can be some bloating. So if that is true, that comes along, make sure that you are at least steaming your vegetables. You're sauteing them a little bit. But find some good things, good fiber that you can include in every single meal. It's like at breakfast time, make sure you soak your chia seeds or put them in some kind of coconut milk or almond milk or whatever. Chia seeds are great for protein and fiber. Flaxseed can be really great. And then just do some of your fruits that have some really high fiber. Raspberries are unbelievable for fiber. Just even half a cup like has 8 grams of fiber. So don't try to get all your fiber in one meal. Spread it out, so that will help with digestion also. So getting fiber in, 10 grams in the morning, 10 grams at lunch, and then spreading it out through the evening time. But try and get those fibers in. So not do you need your protein, which is very important, and your healthy fats and carbs, but please make sure that you're getting the fiber in there. And hydration is really great. We don't want to just have hydration with just water. Make sure you're getting your electrolytes in there. You can have a little bit of Celtic salt in the morning time with your water, but making sure that you're at least getting half your body weight or 100 ounces of water per day. So that's any thoughts on there that you have, Amy?
Yep, it's great. And if you um, you can track by serving size, not necessarily by calories.
Yeah, like look at this plate. It just kind of like 40% of it's protein, and then a little, this part is 30% is this. You just want to make sure, what I always try to do is what I did in the beginning is kind of track it at the beginning, maybe for a couple of weeks. That way you get some idea, and then you don't have to worry about that tracking anymore. You can really get there. But
Yeah.
what's so important about protein is keeps us full longer, helps us build our muscles because when the less muscles we have, the less we burn. Healthy fats keeps us satisfied. Those carbs help us with energy, helps us sleep. Those are so important. And fiber helps get the estrogen out of your body, the extra estrogens, the extra hormones, the toxins. It will help detox the body and getting that out of your body and keeping with that fiber. So those are super important. Helps with blood sugar, fiber does. So a lot of times during this time we have a higher insulin levels, so that fiber really helps.
Thank you, Jody. Okay, so we're not going to leave you hanging. We put up together some meal plan ideas. So you can scan that QR code up at the top and you'll get a 1-week meal plan. And if I had thought to open it, I sure would have, but it's basically breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's all clickable. So it will take you right to the appropriate meal. And they're so super simple that you can easily create a shopping cart from that. So when you go to the grocery store, you're actually shopping for the foods that you're going to make that week. One, it saves money. Two, it helps you stay on track. So here's just a sample: breakfast, scrambled eggs, or however you like them, spinach, feta, half the avocado, and berries on the side. And once you put that all on a plate, you're going to realize you will be satisfied with eating, because it's not it's not taking foods away. It's making sure that you have enough to keep you going throughout the morning. Lunch, grilled salmon salad with olive oil vinaigrette, sweet potato wedges. Snack, Greek yogurt. They say the health to good or the path to good health is Greek yogurt. I keep reading that over and over. So add your Greek yogurt. You can even add honey or chia seed, walnuts, healthy granola, and we'll talk about healthy foods in just a moment. Dinner, turkey burger, lettuce wraps, Brussels sprouts, wild rice. And then you don't have to say no to sweets. Dark chocolate satisfies it. So do raspberries. And hopefully as you correct the signaling in the gut-brain axis, the signals, the hormones coming out of your gut to your brain receptors, that you start craving foods that are more healthy, even sweet. So we're going to talk a little bit about sugars on the next slide. So one of the best things that I started doing is I started reading labels. So let's take a moment and just talk about something that's super simple, but so powerful. And that is reading labels when you go to the grocery store. And remember, you don't have to read labels for a lifetime. Once you figure out what foods are healthy for you, then you have knowledge is power. So the truth is, anytime we go to the store and we go to the healthy foods section, some of those healthy foods are actually hijacking your hormones and slowing your progress without us even realizing it. There are 3 things I always tell the women that I work with to look for. So 1, look for seed oils on the back of a label. Seed oils are cheap oils. They're like canola, soybean, corn, sunflower, saf oil, cottonseed, and they are literally in everything from salad dressings to protein bars. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem, is because seed oils are highly inflammatory. And inflammation is one of the root cause of hormone disruption, especially women who are in their midlife. Added sugars. So added sugars, they have sneaky names. They show up like high fructose corn syrup, which I think we all know that one, but like brown rice syrup, maltodextrin, cane sugar. We always think cane sugar must be so natural, so it must be clean. Not necessarily. All these can spike our insulin. They crash your energy, and they feed on this belly fat down here. So even health foods are loaded with sugar disguised as fancy names. And then, of course, the other thing would be sugar substitutes, which I feel like we are super keen on that. But anytime we see sugar-free, we think healthy, when if it's sweet, there's something in it that's created the sweetness. So you have a list of all the different ones, but these 0-calorie sweeteners, they too are causing, they may seem harmless, but they're causing disruption in your gut health. They can increase cravings, and it's really confusing your hunger hormones. So simple tips, and they may not be easy tips, but they are simple. Stick to foods where you recognize ingredients, and always fewer ingredients are better. And if sugar is one of the first 3 ingredients, no matter how it's listed, it's kind of a red flag. So we shouldn't be listing sugar as the primary ingredient for any foods. It's disruptive to our hormones. And remember, this isn't about being perfect. I think perfection is completely overrated. This is about 80% of your diet being clean and wholesome, and then allowing that 10 to 20% to be a bit off. That way you feel like you can participate when you go out to eat, and you can show up at your grandchild's birthday party and know that you can enjoy the cake, because 80% of the time you are on point and you're feeding your body all the good foods. And once you start reading labels with hormones in mind, you'll actually just start making better choices, because you're wanting to support your energy, and you now know it can disrupt our metabolism, and you start focusing on long-term health goals. So I have two peanut butter jars. Both are considered healthy. So all I did was Google the healthiest peanut butter, and both of these popped up. So literally, if you want healthy peanut butter, it should only have one ingredient, and that's peanuts. Now, salt is okay too, but if it has sugars, oils, or a whole paragraph of ingredients, it's not doing your hormones any favors. So two different jars, both healthy. One has peanuts, cane sugar, palm oil, and salt, and the other one just has peanuts. And I know sometimes the healthiest peanut butter is not always the most spreadable, but you trade good for bad. Okay. So even though it may not be the most spreadable, which if anyone has a tip on that, I would love to know, it is the healthier option. And here's a fun fact about seed oils. So seed oils like canola and soybean and sunflower, all of those things, they may sound innocent because, well, soybeans are grown from the earth. Canola is a plant grown from the earth. So it sounds innocent, but the real story is these were never meant to be food. In fact, seed oils were originally created for industrial lubricants. So they were used to grease machinery and clean equipment back in the early 1900s. It wasn't until manufacturers realized and figured out how to bleach and deodorize them that they ended up in our food supply. And so now we see them everywhere. Like if you read the back of a package of a protein bar, a healthy protein bar, you'll see palm oil or saf oil or sunflower oil. Most processed foods, crackers, chips, the peanut butter, dressings for our salad, all healthy foods typically will have seed oils in it. And the issue is these are super inflammatory. So it's how they're processed. They're processed with a chemical that when we consume it, it's released into our gut. They're loaded with unstable omega-6 fats, and that throws off our hormones and metabolism. And when we eat these on the regular, because we're having peanut butter and apples or peanut butter and banana or anything like that, we're kind of banging our head against the wall. We're eating healthy, we think, but the seed oils are disrupting our hormones. So just check the labels. You'll start spotting them right away. And then once you have this knowledge, you'll be like, it's just not worth it. I'll go the other route. Okay. Jody and I get asked all the time, what about intermittent fasting? So this is a pretty hot topic. A lot of women are curious about it. Maybe you're already doing it, especially when we're trying to lose belly fat or we're insulin resistant. So the truth is, fasting can be a very powerful tool, but only if your hormones are in place to handle it. So if you're someone and you have stable energy and you're sleeping well and you're chronically stressed, or sorry, someone who has stable energy, sleeps well, and isn't chronically stressed, fasting might actually help. It might help regulate your insulin. It could reduce inflammation. It supports fat loss. However, if you are skipping meals and you feel anxious and you're burnt out and you're struggling with menopause symptoms, it can actually backfire on you. Intermittent fasting can be a stressor. So if your body is already under stress because you're going through menopause or you have a lot of inflammation in your body, it can trigger belly fat to hang on more because we're further stressing out our system. And so many women are very legalistic about intermittent fasting. So if you say, I'm going to fast for 16 hours, even if you're hungry at the 12-hour mark or the 14-hour mark, we get in our heads that we have to go to 16. And that just further increases the stress on our body. Plus, our metabolic hormones are like, I don't know what she's doing, and I better hang on to this belly fat because she may not feed me. So it creates an issue. Healthy fast is just allowing your gut to clean out. So think 12 hours. If you eat around 6 o'clock at night, try to go till 6 o'clock in the morning. I think, Jody, you even recommend don't go longer than 14 hours. Is that what you tell your ladies that you work with?
Yeah, I mean, as far as fasting goes, I love the 12 hours, like stop eating after your evening meal and then you can wait a little bit. You really have to listen to your body. I do believe in not fasting, but not doing it every single day. So if you do the 12 to 14 hours, that's fine. And then once a week, you could do a 24-hour fast and it can still feel really great. It can reset your body, it can help with insulin. So if done right, it's really great. But if you're finding your body is more anxious, more of these kind of things, then that is something you have to put on the back burner for now until your body feels like it's safe. To remember, your body is always wanting to feel safe. And if it doesn't feel safe, it will just store fat.
Yeah. And I think you nailed it when you said we have to listen to our body.
Yeah.
And women, as we've gotten older, I think we're more in tune to that now than we ever were, because losing weight or shifting habits, it just seemed easier in our 20s and 30s because our body responded quicker.
Yeah.
And now we have the whole menopause thing not working against us, but we have to take that into account when we're trying all these new things to shed belly fat. So what your body needs, just kind of a recap of the workshop, we need to lower our cortisol. So stress relief, gut brain support, blood sugar stability is huge, protein, fiber, carb, and the timing around those foods. Muscle maintenance. Strength training is one of the best things women can do because it builds those long, lean muscles, and those muscles increase our metabolic rate. So you're burning calories even while you're hanging out watching a workshop about belly fat. So if you choose workouts or whatever, make sure strength training is involved in that. And Jody and I literally, we watch YouTube videos. We find cheap, inexpensive things because neither one of us want to drive to a gym. So you can work right out in your home.
Yeah, if you have an iPhone too, Apple Fitness is $75 a year and so professional and really great. So if that's something that you want to do too, that's really great.
Oh, perfect. Nervous system support, rest, fun, breathing. If you've watched Jody's lives on TikTok, she starts with tapping and just regulating our central nervous system to prepare for the day. And it's such a simple thing and literally can take less than 2 minutes. And then when you do choose to do movement, do the things that light you up. Like these ladies on the bottom right, they dancing, I don't know what they're doing, but they're having fun doing it. Like all the two slides or the two pictures where women are exercising, they have smiles on their face because they're enjoying it, whether it's the atmosphere or the actual activity. Join pickleball. I picked up jazzercise. Do the things where you get excited to go because it really boosts those endorphins and it makes you feel good. Okay. As you know, we love nutrition and movement, and that equals balance. Movement's a big part of it. You pair it with hormone supporting foods and supplements, and you've just got a great overall system to help your body balance, regulate, and do what it needs to do. And so a lot of us are consuming Happy Juice to support cortisol and gut health. Mood Plus helps regulate cortisol. GBX Fit balances those metabolic hormones, and not just GLP-1. Like GLP-1's all the rage, but there's leptin and ghrelin and insulin, like Jody mentioned, your cortisol. So GBX Fit's going to target all of those. Ignite helps balance the reproductive hormones. Protein, whether you want whey or plant-based, Amari has both of those, so those are easily added to an order. Reboot helps gently cleanse the microbiome. It's 3 days, and you can do that every 4 or 5 months. Just reset the microbiome. And then superfoods, seed fiber, multivitamins, things like that is everything that Amari has to offer that you may have already experienced or you're looking to add to your protocol. And then last but not least, this is where you can find us. We're already planning our June 25th workshop. It's going to be all around hormone health and sleep. And we would love for you to be a part of it. So you can go ahead and register right now by clicking that QR code. And then I'm going to pause the recording and we're going to answer questions.